Welcome back to Uprising. I'm Sonali Kohatkar. A massive drilling project in the town of Carson has been dropped, much to the joy of activists who pressured for years against it. Occidental Petroleum, which was recently renamed California Resources Corp., had a plan to drill 200 new wells in the Southern California city, possibly using hydraulic fracturing or fracking to squeeze oil out of the area. Some of the wells would have been 2 miles deep. Last year, Carson city officials placed a moratorium on drilling, but then reversed that ban. Now it appears as though the company itself is pulling back and has asked the city to withdraw its application to drill. In a statement released on Monday, California Resources said it, quote, is no longer practical in the current commodity price environment. Joining me on the phone today is Alexandra, Nagy, an organizer with Food and Water Watch, which has been very involved in the fight. Welcome to Uprising, Alexandra.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, what was the plan originally? Were the wells supposed to be traditional oil wells or fracking operations? Either way, how serious a problem would it have been to the local community in Carson?
Originally, Occidental told the residents that they would use fracking as the technique of choice in these 200 wells. And right then and there, the Carson residents decided that no, they don't want this, and they were going to fight this project to the very end. And that's what they've done. And regardless whether it had been fracking or just regular oil and gas wells, these are major polluters in communities that cause air pollution. There's concerns about it causing water pollution, and it's just not viable for healthy communities. And the Carson residents knew that and fought against this project.
Now, it's not that there's no wells currently in Carson, right? I mean, there are existing oil wells or older operations?
Yeah, the Domingos oil field, which is where the Oxy project was slated to go, is a very old field. It's been around and been in production since the turn of the 20th century. But it's for the most part, gone idle and is not active anymore, largely because technologies needed to make that field productive, like fracking, have only come around recently. And Occidental was really the first company that tried to go back and re-stimulate this old field. And so the wells that are there have been abandoned and are scattered throughout, but it's not a huge productive field anymore.
Why did California Resources, aka Occidental Petroleum, withdraw its application? Do you believe that low oil prices forced it to abandon the project?
Absolutely. I mean, that was the push over the edge, but if the community hadn't been fighting since 2012 to resist this project, they would be drilling there now. It would be Occidental, and it would be Occidental drilling there now. When we saw over the course of the fight, when we had the residents push to get a moratorium introduced, we saw Oxy stock fall 4%. And so we know that when communities stand up and fight back, they do lose, the energy companies, they lose money. And it's not, over time, it costs money. And so with the market being the way it is, it was just sort of the final push over the edge. But we know that moving forward with the zoning ordinance that we're working to put in place, we're going to make sure that they can't come back.